Welcome back guys, Harry here, known as Tradesharpe, and in this video I'm gonna talk and reveal to you guys my 4-step trading strategy. So when I started trading, the biggest thing I found is that there was too many steps, too many people pushing confirmations, and I would just get confused, because when you start trading you're like, the more confirmations I have in a trade the better, but then your strategy becomes, or the way you trade, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter, ends up becoming too many things, too many variables where you just get confused. So whenever I take a trade, I make sure that I follow all of these 4 steps and I keep it simplified to 4 steps. And this is going to ensure you that you have a system that you can follow when you're taking trades. And that for me has been done in 4 steps. And that is basically how I run through the charts every single day before I trade. And hopefully it can help you guys to implement that in your own trading and stop getting confused with all of these different confirmations, which just ends up with leaving you guys with confusion at the charts and not having hesitation to take trades because you just get confused of what to look for. So with that being said, let's get straight into the video and get on to step number 1, which is going to be the first thing I look at when I arrive to the charts. So guys, before we start, you know the YouTube business. If you guys could leave a like and subscribe, you'll probably subscribe at the end of the video if you like my content or not. There's plenty of free content on the channel. We're live streaming as well, Monday to Friday London session. So if you want to join that, you guys are welcome. Also, don't forget that just an update that the Tradesharpe exclusive has gone live, so I'll leave the website and the link to that in the description. And if you guys are looking to join a nice free Discord community that we do giveaways, feedback, and all types of stuff that will be able to help you, and you can ask questions directly to me, be sure to join the free Discord. It is a very safe place and I'm sure you guys will benefit from it. So with that all out of the way, let's get into step number 1. So step number 1 is going to be your chart markup. Now personally, I like to use support and resistance and horizontal lines, not trend lines and stuff like that, because trend lines and all other forms of support and resistance or chart markups can be controversial, because you can argue this, but you cannot argue that this resistance here is not a resistance. It's impossible to argue because price has created a resistance here, and that is easy to know because we have a bullish candle followed by a bearish. You cannot argue that. And you cannot argue where there's a 4-hour resistance. Let's say right here there's a 4-hour resistance. No one can argue that this is not a 4-hour resistance, and that is why I like to use horizontals and instead of trend lines, because it makes things way more accurate. And you notice that price respects these zones to the T, and it gives you really good zones to trade in, because this is a 4-hour support. If you were trading on a 30-minute time frame, 15, and you're taking sells without you knowing that this was a 4-hour support, you would be targeting down here, but you would get rejection from here. So that's why it's important to do your chart markup starting from the higher time frames and work your way down, you know, from the daily to the 4-hour to the 1-hour to the 30-minute, and mark these zones using horizontal lines to identify what are potential watch areas, what are potential zones that you can look to take buys or sells above, or what are potential zones that you have to target, right? And this gives you a good overall picture, a higher time frame picture of exactly what you should be looking for, which I find is super important. So that is step number 1, having accurate zones, because this is your guidelines, right? This is your guidelines to know where you are in the market and to know if you're trading close to a support, close to a resistance. So it's super important to have that. So I will link the full video on how to exactly mark your support and resistance accurately. That'll be in this description as step number 1. And now let's go to step number 2. So just a quick one, been getting a lot of questions about the Tradesharpe exclusive community. Just want to clear a few things up and what it involves being part of the team. So basically what we do is we run Zoom sessions every single day while I'm live streaming. You can ask questions there, and then once the live stream ends, those Zooms continue if trading is still relevant, and we discuss what happened in the session. People who have questions fresh on their mind can talk to me during those Zooms. On top of that, you get access to content that we record on the webinars. The problem is you find, you know, people who have so much content but it's not in order and you don't know what to do, you don't know what to watch first. But that's why I've decided to make a private drive that has content all in order, plus the webinar recordings if you can't make it. So on top of that, we do have our chat rooms that are going. And for New York session, if you're guys someone who trades New York sessions, we do have New York session traders. I also do want to encourage, right, that people learn how to implement the skill. It's very important to learn how to implement the skill, because that's what builds confidence. So that's why we have a voice chat going, and I privately stream New York session once a week as well on Tuesdays. Otherwise, we have the voice chat going for New York traders. And then also I discuss my positions in there. Anything I'm taking during the day off stream, I'll discuss it in there as well. I do have a full video on my website, so basically check that out as well. I think that will explain it more in depth, but I just wanted to make that clear so people understand what it is and understand where they can find more information, which I think is the most questions I was getting about. And yeah, if you're a US customer, sometimes please read, you have to verify the transaction because we operate in Dubai and sometimes that happens. So that will easily resolve the issue. You can always contact support, don't worry about it. Just wanted to get that out, and let's get back into the video. So step number 2 is going to be, if you show up to the markets like this and you have your markup done already, and now you're waiting, okay, now what's my step number 2? It's going to be finding session bias. When you have the markets like this, you need to be able to find session bias. Session bias is super important because you need to know, okay, fine, now I have marked up my charts, I know where my relevant zones are. How am I going to find what direction do I expect price to go in the session? Because you need to have a bias of where you think price is going to go during your session. Otherwise, you're going to be confused looking for buys, looking for sells. If you're looking for buys here, you got faked out. Then you were looking for sells, you got faked out. But if you stuck to one bias, you would have taken sells 1. If you stuck to buys, you would have taken buys in 1. So you would have stuck to one bias and you would have been able to have accurate trading. So I can't explain and express how important it is to have session bias. And the way you're going to do that is by using only the previous daily candle closes and the previous 4-hour candle closes. That's the way you do it, because when you're trading only what? You're trading only one 4-hour candle. In a session, you're trading just one 4-hour candle. You're not trading 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 4-hour candles. No, you're just trading one because this is the previous candle for your session close, let's say, for example, and then you're going to be trading this next candle right here. So you don't need to be able to analyze all of these 4-hour candles before. You just need to mark the relevant support and resistance, the most recent ones, and then you're only trading one 4-hour candle. So why do you need to spend time trying to understand a huge complicated thing of what, you know, all of these candles have done before, when you should focus just to get bias? I mean, you do need to focus on structure and what price is doing, but to get bias, you look at what has the previous candle done and what has the previous daily candle done, and that will allow you to find your bias. So I have a detailed video on what do you do with those previous daily candles and what do you do with those previous 4-hour candles to either make a bullish bias, a bearish bias. Also in that video is included a free indicator that helps you with your bias. And I do also have a video on mixed bias, so you know what to do when this says mix. So definitely hooked you up right there, giving you all the resources. Don't be lazy. Go check out that video so you understand exactly what bias is. Be sure to stick to the end of this video just to hear the 4 steps. Otherwise, you're not going to watch the other videos in sequence and you're not going to understand how to apply them. So here I'm teaching you a bit of application of how to apply these in order and what to do and how to, you know, use them in your trading. So you first mark up the chart, and now next you're looking for your session bias. Once you find your session bias, okay, let's say today we're bullish. Now you have to find what? Number 3, which is your trading zone. So trading zones simply refer to where on the charts are you going to trade, because if you don't know where to trade on the charts, then you're going to be completely lost. All right, so it's super important to find your trading zones on the chart. It's super important to find, okay, where am I going to trade today to look for buys, right? Where am I going to look for sells, right? If you have a bearish bias. And the way you're going to find that is by identifying what's the relevant zones. Of course, you don't want to be buying at 4-hour resistance. Buying up here at this 4-hour resistance, bad idea. Selling at 4-hour support, bad idea. So obviously you've done your markup. These are bad ideas to buy and sell in these zones. So since you did step number 1, it's going to help you with step number 3, and you'll know where to trade. So let's say today we're bullish. Well, look, I have space from here. I have an LTA, which stands for clean candles, low traffic area, whatever you want to call them. It's a clean candle. The reason we use clean candles because if price can move easily in the past, we can expect it to move easily in the future. So you know, fine, I have space from here to my 4-hour resistance. So why can't I use that to trade from point A to point B? Right? But you need to do step 1 and 2, otherwise you're going to be lost, because you might be looking for sells here when it's actually a bullish bias. You might be looking for buys here when it's actually a bearish bias. So it's super important, right? It's super important that you apply those first and second steps, because now if you know that step number one is I have my zones marked, so you know that buying at this resistance is not a good idea because it's a 4-hour, or even selling here at this support is not a good idea because it's a 4-hour. You've done step number one. Now you know the bias. Now you just need to find where's your clean candles that you can sell to or buy, right? Where it gives you enough range to trade between these higher time frame zones, essentially, right? Or lower time frame, because maybe there's a 30-minute resistance here and you can't trade that. So it's as simple as that. And once you apply all those 3 steps, the next thing is, okay, fine, I know where I'm trading, I know my markup, I have my guide, I know my bias, I know a lot now, I know how I have a lot of information on the charts. So now, what do you think step number 4 is going to be? It's pretty self-explanatory, taking the trade. So now you need to have setups. You can't randomly go and just, when price crosses a zone, press buy, when price crosses a sell zone, press sell. No, you have to have a plan, back-tested, proven over many times, right? You can see the Excel sheets of back-tested data that I have, and you can see the amount of information that I have to collect in order to find something that works. You have to practice it over time. You have to practice it, you know, back to back. You have to have something that works. We keep on stream, a stream journal is here as well of all of the different setups with images. This is all back tested. These are not random entries. They have names. These are stuff that is used commonly, right? So that is what you have to have, and those entries is what you're going to look for next. So all you have to do is wait for an entry. As soon as the entry comes, you can take the trade and you won't have hesitation. You won't have lack of clarity, because all you do is you're following your plan that you know works. So next question, you guys who are new or watching this video are going to be like, okay, where can I learn how to take these setups? That is why I have that video about the top 3 price action entries. I also have a PDF. So if you go to resources in the free Discord, that's why I told you guys to join the free Discord. You get that journal, right? The journal here. And then you get this Excel sheet here, which is the top 3 price action entries. This is automatically going to give you help into finding those 3 price action entries. I put them on a nice PDF with picture examples, and there's a video to accompany that. So guess what? You guys can watch the video to find, okay, how am I gonna take the entries? Then you simply put that all together, and now you have a 4-step method every time you come to the charts in just 4 steps. Not 6, not 7, not this EMA confirmation, trend line confirmation, this fair value gap is mitigated with this liquidity grab. That I'm already past 5 different confirmations. You know, EMA crossing the 8 EMA, the Fibonacci is at the 6. No, clear approach, clear mind, clear charts, and clear trades, right? That's exactly what we want to have. We don't want to be confused in the market. The market's already difficult enough. Let's not make it harder, right? Because that's our focus. And that's basically that. That's how I run my trades. That's personally what I do. You might not agree with it, but that is what's worked for me. And that is why I'm talking about this in this video, is because it's what's worked for me. So basically I condense my trading into 4 steps, and I apply those 4 steps to take a trade. So I greatly hope that this video has helped you guys. Gonna wrap it up here. Not too much of a long video. Nice, clean and simple. Putting things into practice of how you need to apply it on the market. If this video has helped you, definitely consider leaving a like on the video. Let me know any comments you have. I love to read the comments. Spam the comments. Just do all of that YouTube stuff. Really does help, but I do read the comments anyways. And yeah, with that being said, be sure to subscribe to get next week's video. Will be very, very important, and check that all out. With that being said, take care, trade sharp, and hopefully catch you guys very, very soon. With that being said, peace.